Welcome to Talk Law Radio with attorney Todd Marquardt of the Marquardt Law Firm at marquardtlawfirm.com.
Welcome back to Talk Law Radio. I'm Todd Marquardt on the radio, on Facebook, on YouTube, and on talklawradio.com. If you have a topic that you want me to talk about, go to talklawradio.com, and there's a button there that says, I want to be a guest. So click that and enter your contact information. There will be a little box where you let me know what you want to talk about. Or if you just have a topic about the law that you're really interested in or that you're really frustrated about, email me at host@talklawradio.com. That's HOST@talklawradio.com. Today we're talking about resolutions and goals with Melody Smith, who is a former certified nutrition coach, and current manager of a Pilates studio. We'll have her back with the Pilates owner to talk more specifically about what that is. But today we're talking about goals and resolutions, and we're talking a little bit about nutrition. And now I want to talk about the inverted food pyramid that, I don't know, the news made me think that President Trump invented this, but he probably didn't.
I really don't know.
So there's a picture of it there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so at the top is protein, dairy, and healthy fats, vegetables, and fruits. And he calls it the Eat Real Food Dietary Guideline. And so based on what you learned in nutrition years ago, right? Mm-hmm. It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been several years.
It was probably the regular food pyramid then, right?
Yeah, but it wasn't very popular. The regular food pyramid wasn't a very popular concept even like then. Mm-hmm. It was criticized quite a bit.
Okay, where you have like all grain at the bottom.
Right.
Supposed to eat lots of grain. Mm-hmm. Well, people don't like to eat bread now. Let me tell you about my granddad. He had, he said, avoid the 3 white poisons. And most people tend to think about narcotics, but his 3 white poisons were sugar, salt, and flour.
Okay, fair.
So I'll talk more about what I remember about his meals in just a few minutes. But what do you like about the new food guideline pyramid?
I like that there's more emphasis on whole foods for sure. Processed foods are not good for you. And there's more studies now that are coming out showing that like deli meat is linked to all kinds of illnesses. I avoid processed meats like that as much as I can. I do like pepperonis on my pizza from time to time, but they're not good for you. Now, bacon, should I not say this one out loud? This would be very unpopular. Yeah. We're look into bacon, guys. Don't. But yeah, I like it better. And I've been seeing recently, I'm about to buy my own flour mill. And they're not that expensive. You can have one that sits on your countertop. And what I've learned recently is that like bread used to be very nutritious because like our ancestors used the whole wheat berry to create that flour, and it had enzymes and proteins, and it was really nutritious for you. Well, to make wheat more shelf stable, companies stripped it of all the nutrients, so it just became a filler, right? And then they re-enriched it with nutrients, and it's just not the same. And we have gluten intolerance and all kinds of things because we're not getting any nutrition from our bread that you buy at the store. But I'll report back later. Okay. I really do want to get, and I've already done quite a bit of research on this. I'm going to get a flour mill and start making some of my own bread, because bread isn't bad. I think that it's the way we process our flour here in America specifically. Because other countries aren't like that.
Does it take all day to do all that?
If it does, I'm not going to do it. But it does online. It doesn't look that hard.
Okay. That's going to be a super fun hobby.
Thanks. Yeah. How hard can it be, right?
How about artificial dyes, like in Kool-Aid and in food? I saw that they were going to take the dye out of Doritos and Cheetos, and they were going to be more of a pale color.
Yeah, I hope they do. I don't know. Why we would have something that's a known poison in our food. If we know it makes us sick, why are we still adding this to foods? But I understand it's also marketing. It's bright orange, and I guess people are used to that at this point. But I grew up on Kool-Aid. I was talking to my kids about this recently. We ate Kool-Aid. We drank Kool-Aid. Like, it was a big part of my childhood.
Right.
And I've never given my kids Kool-Aid once in their lives. But there's a lot of things that I just, we didn't know better then that we ate. And now we do know better, so we don't.
Yeah. Well, I had heard that the red was especially bad, that maybe it caused ADHD or something like that.
I've read some things about that too. Yeah.
Well, I think it's okay to have a regulation. Usually I don't want the government to interfere in my life, but the marketplace of competition is not making us healthier.
Right. I agree with you on that. Limited government is better in my opinion. But I think we have to know what's being sold to us, so that transparency is important.
Okay, so now I want to talk about legacy.
And now,
Mark,
it's
are
time
you going
for
to play the
Talk Law
legacy?
Radio Legacy
Okay.
Spotlight. What's your legacy? Sponsored by Marquardt Law Firm.
All right, so some of what I remember about my own family legacy is the meals that we shared together. My mom passed away a few years ago, but I still like to remember her by remembering the food that she made. And she was very much make it from scratch person. Even though she was a single mom, she would wake up at 4:30 in the morning, work the whole day, come home, do all the cooking, and then tell us to get in bed. So she made a lot of good food. My favorite is the Mississippi mud cake.
Ooh.
It's
Okay.
more of like a fudge, and it's probably got too much sugar for somebody my age, but I still eat it at least once a year. After my dad's mom died, my granddad, who I was mentioning before, avoid the 3 white poisons, he would cook for himself what he called goulash. And it was usually fish or chicken, mashed potatoes, green beans, grapes, and cantaloupe. So he would cook everything in the pot together except for the fruits. And then he would
Okay.
just put the fruit in there later. And I remember seeing him at the kitchen table eating his goulash right out of the pot.
Interesting.
Yeah, so that's what happens if a guy has to live on his own and he's 80 years old.
Just whatever's in the refrigerator.
Well, that's how I came up with Todd's Tacos. Is my kids all left, and so I only had to cook for myself. So I opened up the refrigerator doors and say, well, what can I put in a tortilla? And I know tortillas have fat and all that, and not supposed to eat them, but that's how Todd's Tacos got started. For my mom's mom, she was famous for her lasagna. And it also was kind of funny, when I was a little kid, I used to read the comics that came out of the newspaper, and on the first page was Garfield.
Eating lasagna.
Yeah, eating lasagna. So tell us, what are some legacy stories that you can remember of family meals, favorite foods that you all shared together?
Yeah. Food at my mom's was very different than food at my dad's. He was very bachelor. We ate pancakes for dinner a lot with my dad. But my mom had a couple of really good kind of go-to meals. We did chicken and dumplings a lot, and I've gone to her as an adult for her chicken and dumplings recipe a few times. And she also had a delicious fudge that she made. and she could still make it. She hasn't made it in a while. If you're watching this, Mom, you should make some fudge. But those are like the two kind of standouts.
Yeah, my dad, after church, he would take us to Kentucky Fried Chicken. We'd get the bucket of chicken and whatever pie, cherry pie, apple pie, and all the sides, coleslaw, the biscuits with the honey packets, and I forget what other sides there were. I just remember the coleslaw. But that was a staple of his because he didn't like to cook. It was only after my brother and I were old enough to work the stove that he started to buy Hamburger Helper, which I'm sure is not healthy because it's just a powder that comes in a box and you put it on the hamburger.
Yeah, but we had Hamburger Helper growing up a lot too, and I loved it. Beef stroganoff, it was good.
Right. Yeah, but now we know better, so we have to do better.
Mm-hmm.
My mom had maybe 50 cookbooks. Do you use cookbooks?
No, but I go to recipes online.
Online.
Yeah, and a lot of times I just wing it, and then I just learn as I go.
Oh,
so
wow.
Not all of my meals are great, but it's trial and error.
Yeah, well, that's kind of fun. What kind of taco should I cook next?
I don't know why fish tacos come into my mind. Fish tacos.
What kind of fish?
Do a whitefish. Do flounder.
Okay. I'll get it fresh from H-E-B. I need to quit mentioning H-E-B. You need to become a sponsor of the show, H-E-B. So you've been learning a lot about goals and resolutions and nutrition from Melody Smith. And we've been talking about some of the new laws, which is the inverted food pyramid that President Trump is probably going to take credit for. It just seems like that there's other people that know more about food than he does. But hope you've enjoyed it. Let us know what you think. Thank you for joining us. Anything else you want to say?
Yeah, no, thank you for having me. This was fun.
Yeehaw!
Yeah.
Talk to you later.
This has been Talk Law Radio with attorney Todd Marquardt, brought to you by the Marquardt Law Firm. You can learn more at marquardtlawfirm.com. And be sure to listen to the full Talk Law Radio show Saturday mornings at 11 on 9:30 a.m. The Answer.
Most families don't realize they have hidden legal blind spots until it's too late. Wills, trusts, Medicaid planning, even protecting a business. These are the kinds of issues attorney Todd Marquardt helps uncover before they become problems. Todd is the host of Talk Law Radio, where each week he guides listeners through the legal challenges families, veterans, and business owners face, while showing them the practical steps to protect what matters most. Catch Talk Law Radio, Saturdays at 11 a.m. on 9:30 a.m. The Answer, 6:30 a.m. The Word, and now in Houston on AM 1070 and 103.3 FM The Answer, or anytime on YouTube. Planning isn't just about documents. It's about peace of mind, security for loved ones, and building a legacy that lasts. Don't wait for a crisis. Do it before you die.